Good afternoon. Welcome to Over the Coffee Cup. I've had a great cup of coffee here from Ted, and we've just been having a good time together. I'm sharing some things, and today I want to talk about overcoming fear. Did you know that fear is a learned thing? We have to learn how to be afraid because we're created not to be afraid. Now, I know that may sound strange, but listen to this verse. 1 Samuel 17. I'm going to read first round, but before I do, I want to give you Psalms 27. Psalms 27, chapter 20, verse 7. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. In the 17th chapter of 1 Samuel, the children of Israel have been backed into a corner by the Philistines, and the leader of the pack is Goliath. And he has them absolutely scared to death. He's a giant. And they're making threats. We're going to wipe you out. They're full of fear. Fear has ruled their life. Fear rules a lot of people's lives. I'm telling you, you don't need to be afraid if you trust the Lord. Can you be anxious at times? Sure you will be. But if you trust God, you don't have to worry about being afraid. Praise God. Thank the Lord. I read about a man who, for 32 years, hid. He was afraid that he was going to get caught for a crime. He hid away. He stayed in the country. He stayed incognito, everything he could to be away. And when he was 64 years old, he learned that no charges had ever been filed against him. He thought, he heard, and he might have been there, he might have been accused of it, but when it came right down to it, no charge. So for 32 years, he walked in fear. Fear of being caught, fear of being taken back. I'm going to tell you, that would just wipe me out. It would wipe me out. I know there's been times I've faced certain situations and I've been afraid. I can remember in the first assignment that I had in Beaver, Alaska. I was coming, it was in the wintertime, and I had a little garden tractor. And of course, there's a remote area. You fly in, you fly out. And I was coming down the trail, going to the post office. 85 people in this town. It's a remote area. It's on the Yukon River. And I saw someone coming that were staggering all around. I thought, uh-oh, this guy's coming. He's pretty well intoxicated. And he got up real close to me, and he pulled up his parka, and he pulled out a pistol and pointed right at me, and he said, "Get off that thing." And so I shut off the little garden tractor I was riding on and looked at him. He said, "I don't like you." I said, "Well, sometimes I have a hard time liking myself." He said, "You preach too long. You preach too loud." Well, I don't know how he knew that because he'd never been in church. But he had, and then I said to him, "What did you drop?" Now, instead of being afraid, that had to be God. Because I'm facing a guy with a pistol looking me in the face, telling me everything you don't like about me. And I said, "What did you drop?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Let's go find it." Took his mind off of what, and we started digging in the snow. He was loading his pistol and dropped some of the ammunition into the snow. Well, about that time, his brother showed up and he said, "Come on, let's go." And then, long and short of it, I actually saw him walk up to his mother's cabin and put his gun and just start shooting a hole in the door. Now, I could have been afraid. I could have run. I could have turned him in. I could have done a lot of things. But when we have the Lord on our side, we don't have to be afraid. That's why in the 17th chapter, David was able to step up to the plate and say, look, I have faced all kinds of obstacles out there as a shepherd. And you're telling me you're going to take us over? No, I don't think so. And of course, we know the story of David and Goliath and the slingshot and all that. But here's the point that I want you to hear me real close. You may have fear. You may be anxious. But there is a place in God to overcome and walk in victory if you want to. Now, you can allow fear to control your life. You can allow fear to rule your life and stay hidden out there if that's what you choose. But I'm telling you, come out of hiding, step up to the plate, don't be afraid. I don't care if it's a Goliath or an army or what it might be. God said he would be with you. So look to him. Allow him to do it, man. He wants to help you. He wants to take the fear out of your life. And he wants to give you the boldness and the strength. A friend of mine one time said to me, we were going through a lot of stuff in a particular, he said, man, there's one thing I've learned about you. And I said, what's that? He said, you got the boldness of a lion, the tenacity of a bear, and the hide of a rhinoceros. I don't know where it all came about, but I'm going to tell you, my strength is in the Lord. And that's what I say to you. Don't trust chariots and horses and all that kind of other stuff. Don't trust your job and all that. Thank God, those are all avenues that God gives us and blesses us with. But trust in the Lord and not be afraid. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll direct your path. He'll never leave you nor forsake you. He's going to walk with you through the trial, and you will be able to come out the other side and say, God is my source.